Okay, so today I want to look at this deploying and configure an Amazon Lightsail um, MySQL database. Basically, simply because I want to just understand a little bit more about Lightsail. So Lightsail here, it's actually described by Be a Better Dev. Lightsail is an AWS service that offers pre-packaged tech stacks. You can use Lightsail to host a WordPress site, static website, a mean or LAMP stack, a database, and many other options. So basically, it's just a way to actually host simple something simple on the tech stack, which basically just means could be any of these technologies here that you're basically looking for. So what I want to do is I want to look at that kind of hands-on. I want to just come in here. So in this tutorial, we'll deploy a database on Lightsail, which can be used by any Lightsail instances or applications deployed in the same region. So this allows you to build applications and systems within Lightsail without needing to use any additional AWS services. Okay, so in this tutorial, deploy a MySQL database, Ubuntu, connect Ubuntu to the database, create additional users, and enable logging and snapshots of the database instance. Okay, so basically it says log into Lightsail, which I've done here. Select the databases tab, select the databases tab, which is here. Choose create database, create database. Choose the availability zone and the region. So here I'm going to just wait for this to come up, and I'm going to pick your region is going to be, let's just change that. I'm going to change this to Ireland if I can. Yes. Okay. So basically you've just changed it to be Ireland here. Pick your database. Let's sort of see what we pick here. Select your database. Lightsail currently supports MySQL and PostSQL for the select. We're going to MySQL, which is fine. Let's just see what versions are available. 8.0 and 5.7 versions for MySQL. That's fine. Choose specify login credentials. So you'll create a database username such as that, or you can leave it blank. You will see default credentials after the database is deployed. So you can create it, or you can leave it blank. I think we will. I think we will just leave it blank for the moment. Identify your database, because again, we're going to delete it straight after. By default, Lightsail will create a strong password for your instance, which will be shown in the console after the database is applied. Clear to create. So it says clear to create a strong password for me and enter that. Okay. So what we need to do here is let's just go back up here for a second. Specify login credentials. So that's the default that will be basically used. Create a strong password for me, which is going to be here. And Sunny today. We're going to use this as a database password for now. We're going to delete this database straight away once it's created. Give a database a name when deploying a database. You're deploying both a database instance, a server running MySQL, and a new database on the instance. So the master name here, the master name, we need to sort of say identify a database, which is, let's see, so we were here, specify the master database. They're a little bit kind of hidden, but it's okay. So here you can sort of say DB main, into DB main, which is fine. So we can, rather than master, we can just change this to be DB main, which is fine. With Lightsail database, you can choose a standard plan. Select the standard plan, enter DB instance 1, DB instance 1, down for identify your database, standard plan, identify your database, It's going to be here, DB instance 1. I'm going to close this off. Enter your DB. Okay, that's fine. Choose a create database. It'll take about 15 minutes to deploy the database server. Until it's ready, the resource will be in a status of creating. Okay, so just to reiterate, we've gone back up, we've changed our region, we've selected a database, we've left the database name here, but technically we could enter that name. We can just give it that name, so we just make sure that name is created. We enter the database password, we enter the database name. Here we identify a database, which is here. Then we say click on create database, and it says here, if you come back down here, it says come back down to create your database. It'll take 10 to 15 minutes to deploy the database server. Until it's running, the resource will be grayed out with the status of creating. Okay, so this resource will basically be grayed out until it's in a running instance. So I'm going to pause the video here and come back when this is available. Okay, so just while we're waiting for that, so it says while you wait for your database to be created, we can deploy a Lightsail Ubuntu instance so that we can use the remote into a database instance and perform some admin tasks. Choose the Lightsail icon at the top, which is for home. Okay. It will take you to the instances page. Instances, yes, we're here. I'm going to close off this notification right now. It sort of says you have no instances right now. Choose create instance. So it says ensure your instance is applied in the same region as your database. So we go back to databases. We're making sure that we're in Ireland here. So we're going back to instances. We're going to create instance location. It's already selected that for me. So OS only, so operating system only, and Ubuntu operating system only, and Ubuntu. Soon we can just it's selected 2004 here for Ubuntu. 2204 should be fine, but I'll just continue with the exact same version that's basically listed here for Ubuntu. So we selected Blueprint operating system only, Ubuntu 2004, which we've done. Okay. Choose add launch script. So this is code. This will run code at the beginning. No, sorry. This will run code at the end of deploying this instance. So this will run code at the end of deploying this instance. Okay. So it's a launch script. You will use the launch script to add the MySQL client, allowing you to remotely connect to this database instance. Okay. So you need to add a add launch script. Add launch script, which is here. Take this, so copy this here, put this in here, and for this example, select $350 US per month, for instance, plan. That's fine. Looks like it's already set here. There's a few things here you could just kind of read about dual stack. I'm just going to go with the recommended for now. 350 instance a month. Identify your instance. Do we need to give it a name? Enter Ubuntu 1. It's exactly the same. Create instance. Okay. So we see one instance here pending. So we need to just check that in a few minutes. Wait until the database instance is available. You can watch for the status change by navigating back to database tab and choosing Lightsail icon or the home button. So go back to databases, and it actually sort of says now it's actually available here. So here it is here, which looks good. So I mean, we know the password, right? Because we're following through. Never expose your passwords when you're doing this, but you can sort of see it here because we're just following through the tutorial. Okay, so now that your database is available, you can continue. Your instance can only be reached from under resources. in Lightsail account that are in the same region instance. This means that you won't be able to connect to this database from your office, from your home or office, or other resources outside of your current region. Choose the instance name to continue. Your page will look familiar to this screenshot. Okay, so to see resources, endpoint and port, that's okay. Okay, select the history tab. So just go in and just select logs and history tabs. So it's going to get us our history details. Error logs, additional logs. Okay, so basically just right now we just have database history. This is our only log at the moment. Okay. So it says enable all logs on this page by selecting the button tags. So we can just say general error logs and slow query logs. That's fine. That's okay. That's the only two that we have to enable. Okay. Then it says once these logs are enabled, you can choose to open logs. They can be used for troubleshooting as needed. We've nothing really there to open. But next, select the metrics tabs. You can sort of see the metrics tab, which is here. Here you can select various metrics and see graphical representation of storage usage. This is useful for troubleshooting and determine if the larger instance is needed. Okay, so basically you can look at the CPU utilization to see if this was really not working. Okay, next, select the networking tab. You have the ability to enable public mode. However, this opens your database up to be connected to from anywhere in the world and is highly discouraged other than temporary troubleshooting purposes. If you select the public toggle mode, you can take up to 15 minutes. Okay. I don't think we need that for the moment. It doesn't look like you can go into snapshots. You can go into snapshots and restore. Snapshots and restore. You can restore to a new database. You can create a snapshot. I think this is all, straightforward enough that you could select your emergency restore there. Give your snapshot a name. So let's sort of see. We can just take a snapshot of our manual snapshot, create snapshot. It says give it a name of this. Create. While that's happening here, your snapshot will be created within a few minutes. We can kind of come back to that. Once the snapshot has been created, select the three dot button on the right. This provides the option of creating a new database from the snapshot. Okay. Copy the database endpoint. Copy the database endpoint to your clipboard, then navigate back to U121 instance. Okay. So we're still waiting for this. Okay, so our snapshot has been created, basically. Now we're going to go back to our deployments here. So this says once the snapshot has been created, select the three dot button at the right of the snapshot. So the three dot button at the right. Okay. This provides an option of creating a new database from this snapshot. Okay. Copy the database endpoint. So let's go back to our database. Go in here. Here's the endpoint, I'm assuming. So we're going to copy this. Copy. I'm going to put this into Notepad. Okay, so we've copied our endpoint. Copy the endpoint and navigate back to your Ubuntu instance. Choose the remote terminal icon. So is this Cloud Shell instances? Here's the remote terminal instance. Is this the same? That's Cloud Shell. This is terminal instance. Okay. So this is connecting to your instance. Okay, cool. So that was nice and easy. config. Okay, so we don't have net tools installed, so I can kind of install those if I really want to do, but let's just do this tutorial either way. Continue here, let's kind of go down here. A new SSH window will pop up and you connect in your instance into the following command and replace database URL with the database endpoint you copied. Okay, so this is going to be copied. This is going to be put into copy database URL. I'm going to replace that as it says. You can see the username and password is what we supplied here. Back to our instance here. There's no space between the P and password. P and password. Okay. Paste. Okay. So basically, we're actually into our MySQL here. We're into our MySQL, which is great. Okay. So we do have connection here, exactly the same. You'll now see that you're connected to the instance, and then we can sort of say show databases here. This is all just kind of MySQL type things here. So if I just move that over here, I can sort of say here, paste, show databases. So you can sort of see there's the databases. There's the DB name, main database that we basically connected here. See DB main, yeah, we see that. Create another database. You can create, second database here, 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 paste, paste. Okay. Give your user DB privileges. Okay, and so give your user DB master user privileges on the database by running the following command. So we need to do that. Okay. And then devolve code creates our privileges. Finally, we can exit the remote. So here you just copy, and with MySQL, you basically just need the comma. So that MySQL recognizes. So then you exit and you're back to your Ubuntu instance here. Okay, so congratulations on applying and configuring your Lightsail database instance. You should now feel comfortable using Lightsail databases to power any applications you build or deploy on Lightsail. In this tutorial, you deployed your database instance, added an additional database connected remotely, and configured database settings and snapshots. Okay, cool. All right, so this is one we've just kind of completed now, and we'll kind of mark that off, and we'll move on to the next one. Thank you.